You being in abusive relationships has more to do with your self-talk than with any other aspect or even person in your life. I'll tell you how this is related to get out of negative self-talk, to get out of what people have told you, who you are, or better to say who you are not, and what you cannot reach, and who you never will be, and what you have interiorized, have you put into your belief system that you aren't able to get out of this, and then accepting people into your life who are feeding into this self-talk, into what you are repeating, what people have told you, what you are not, supposedly, and what you have believed you are not, and how this influences the way you are getting into relationships with people who are in reality on the same level of self-talk, on the same level of victimness, on the same level of, there's like this stick of being abusive and being a victim. The more abusive I am or people are, the more they are, let's say, occulting their victim state, and how this relates to each other, and how you pull these people into your life if you keep on listening to what people have told you, who you are not, what you can never do, what you are not able to reach, that you will not be enough, that you are unworthy, that you are unlovable. And if you have adopted this self-talk in the end, because you have converted this into a self-talk, and how this in the end will attract people into your life who are talking in the same way about you and thinking about you and feeling about you as you yourself in reality do. So this is a key in healing. My name is Christina Junge, Love and Leadership Mentor. I love to help you. Subscribe to my channel if you like to get more content of what I'm telling you about inner healing and leadership, and how to level up in your life. Let's get into it. Your self-talk is more determining in which relationships you are pulling into your life and keeping in your life, and how you can change this. At the moment when you were growing up, people most likely have talked to you in a negative manner, in a way that you're not enough, that you're not lovable, that you're not worthy, that you will never attain your goals, that you are not able to be, I say, an agent in your life, to be this vector in your life where you can only by decision making reach your goals, level up, and have and create the life you want, because you're getting reflected over and over again what those abusive people, which have, let's say, constructed your identity, which have constructed your feeling about yourself, about others, and about the world. And you have only, let's say, adopted all their thinking, all their talk, and all their feelings towards you. It's like you have interiorized all these negative manners of thinking and feeling about you, which have served these people only to, let's say, empower themselves from their own victimness, from them feeling like not being enough, them having interiorized the feelings of never being good enough, never having been loved, of this entire emptiness and void these people have been carrying around with them, and having converted themselves into some sorts of puppets, who are repeating on their inner emptiness, which is only filled with negative words, with ideas of being not worth, of unself-worth, self-unworth, I don't know how to say that, and who are only repeating this like an empty echo into your world, into your soft and innocent being, and you have observed this and absorbed this as something which is yours, supposedly, as something you are, as something which is your identity. So these are the dynamics, how you started to include or adopt or generate or let's say plant, it's almost like a seed, or nurture this negative talk into your life, negative self-talk, and how you repeat this all the time, over and over again, whatever you do, whatever you think, and whatever you feel, because it is so hidden. It's a part of this box I'm always talking about. This box has this safe, which has all our negative feelings in there, which has all our childhood hurt, which has all, let's say, all these narcissistic or abusive relationships, what they were doing with us, which are all guarded in there, because we don't want to open this up. We don't want to have a look into this, because these feelings have never been understood deeply by our soul, by ourself, like this something which is living inside of us, and which are being guarded in there as something where you say, I'm not going to look into this because it's going to trigger in you again these feelings of unworthiness, these feelings of humiliation, these feelings of being minimized, these feelings of being justly treated, these feelings of just not being a lovable person, of not being somebody who could reach something, who is worth of trying. So this box is informing what I call, no, it's not I call it, I say that this box informs our subconsciousness, where our beliefs are guarded in, and which kind of like perpetuate inside of us exactly those abusive words or the manners, how we were treated as we were children, as we were small, when we couldn't figure out the difference, and which we have adopted to be something true inside of ourselves. We have believed these people. We have believed them to be true because we wanted to belong to this tribe. We wanted to belong to this flock, where we were dependent on them. I mean, they had to give us food. They had to give us love. Supposedly, they had to be our models. They were role models for creating our identity, our integrity, our being, the way we understood we are, and we understood how we project ourselves into the world. So we were trying to belong to this, to comply with what was requested from us, and what was requested in all those abusive or narcissistic relationships was to be compliant with their abuse, and their abuse was growing and being nurtured by them letting us down, by them telling us that we are not enough, by victimizing us and making us in the end believe. And if we wouldn't believe it, if we would become rebellious, they would break us. They would like augment the power and augment the severity of their abuses, to make us comply, to make us understand that they are right and that we have to follow them. Because if we wouldn't have, these people would have had to get into contact with their own victimness, with their own emptiness, with their own unreasonable thoughts and behaviors and feelings, obviously, which they haven't tried to resolve, and having to take a deeper look into themselves, and having to make a change in their lives, and having to be responsible for what they're saying, what they are feeling, and what they are making others they make us feel, made the victim feel, the chosen victim feel. Okay? And this is very important, that you understand that though this belief system, which is being nurtured by the box of all our hurts, which we couldn't resolve or dissolve from our upbringing, that this keeps on informing us about ourselves, that we keep on repeating through our actions and through pulling people into our lives, which do repeat. Mainly, there's also other people in our lives, but many of these people where we feel familiar with, these are people which have patterns of what is known to us, what we have known to be our flock, our family, the way we had to earn love, the way we had to get attention, the way we had to prove ourselves constantly that we are enough, that we can do it, or to even maintain ourselves in a position of guilt and of denial, to be compliant with what they needed from us. And this has developed like a pattern inside of us, which we can't break so easily anymore, because we have become used to it, and it has become a way of forging our souls, of making us believe that this is reality while this is not reality. So, self-talk. How can we get out of this this belief system that we still believe that what they said is true, because it keeps on, we keep on attracting it into our lives, and it keeps on showing up in our lives, and it makes us believe that this was true. Though it's just a way how we, the frequency on which we resonate in this world, and this is how we pull in other people who resonate on the same frequency. So there's people like vibrating on this frequency, which are also victims, which have been told these or similar things, and which are in the same way, let's say, broken as we are, okay? And we feel familiar with those people. They can have traits more like a victim, or more like a perpetrator, more like a narcissist, or more like a victim. So we unite with these kind of people on this frequency level, where we are in resonance with what we feel, who we are, where our subconsciousness, let's say, radiates our belief system out into the world. We can change this consciousness, this subconscious mind, this belief system, by starting positive self-talk, by allowing ourselves to break the boundaries, to break the lid, let's say, which is keeping us down here in our negative belief system. And this is a way to reaffirm, instead of assuming that I cannot, that I am not, that I will never be or have or do things, is to feed into ourselves that I can. I will be able to read what is going outside of myself, and to understand that this is always just a mirror for who I am and where I am at this point in time. And that everything which occurs outside of myself is a way of informing me where I am. And the more that I am getting into this, let's say, inner conversation of reading what is going on outside and what am I attracting into my life, the more on a conscious level I can analyze this as something which I basically pull in on a vibrational level. And I can analyze many things, but what is really important is to get into the understanding that the more self-love I generate, the more I feed into this emptiness, into this void I've been equipped with by my upbringing, the more I will pull in positive things, or the more I will be conscious or sensitive in my boundaries, that I feel more and more, because I generate this self-love, because I start to believing in myself, and because I start loving myself, I start elevating my inner boundaries, that this is informing me of something which is going on and where I can react to more and more in a manner of, am I gonna let this in, or am I not gonna let this in? Like, am I gonna put some boundaries here? Like, oh no, you're not gonna treat me like this, and be it in attitude, and be it by, my posture, and to make people understand, but more than anything, make myself understand. And this lifts up my boundaries, my inner limits, that this is not a way how I am going to be treated. And people notice. We've been talking on this channel about getting in contact with narcissists, and at the moment we are deciding, for example, to get into no contact, this person will know. Why? Because you're leveling up energetically. And this person needs you, remember, under their energetic level. This person needs you to be a victim, and more of a victim than they are. Okay? So understand that narcissism is a pure victim state. You need to understand that, yeah. So you take off this mask, of the strong person which still wants to hurt you, and start not being hurt anymore by those people, but to understand hurt people. And that you can get out of it first off by getting out of it, but then you're going to feel all your emptiness, because you have filled your life with this expectancy of those people, that you should level up to be perfect, that you should level up to be this person they wanted you to be, and you kind of like took the challenge, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and you got better and better and better, but what you haven't gotten was love, because these people had decided that you are in a better place for them, under them, in a victimized state, that they don't have to feel themselves being victimized, okay? So what you need to do is to start over self-talk, filling this void, filling this emptiness, filling this no love in your life with love, with self-love, with self-appreciation, with self-worth. And this is over self-talk first. Though you can only talk to yourself, but this talk, if you talk dearly to yourself, if you really fall in love with yourself and fill yourself with love, like one after another, these feelings will fill you up, and you will start to believe yourself, and you will start to fill this void and this emptiness, which is like entirely dependent on some negative people telling you, or tomorrow telling you not, that you're good or not good. So you're no longer dependent on somebody outside of you having to tell you who you are, if you are enough, if you have worth, if you're lovable, and all these things. But you start to generate this inside of yourself consistently and dependably. How's that? That you start depending on you being true with yourself, on you, that you can rely on yourself, that you can trust yourself, that you can fill yourself with love, that you can try, and that if you fall, or if you do things wrong, if you do things not elegantly, that you are admitted to retry, and that you're not a bad person because of this. And be careful with guilt, okay? If you feel guilty for something you haven't done wrong, you have to see if you can really believe yourself that somebody wants to hold you guilty for something this person is responsible for, and to disconnect yourself from it and to give back the responsibility and to say, you want this from me, but I'm not going to give this to you because you need to generate this for yourself, and you are doing negative things with me. You're getting me into states of confusion. You are giving me double talk. You're giving me straight negative talk, and this is not what I deserve. I deserve better, And getting into this positive talk where you really reinforce the way that you see yourself and reaffirm yourself, that you look at yourself anytime you look at yourself, anytime you do something, anytime you feel something, that you're always there for yourself, that you always take care of yourself, that you're always caring with yourself, that you're always in beautiful talk with yourself, that you're always indulgent with yourself, that you say, that doesn't matter, the next time you try better, that was good, that was the best try you did. Everybody learns, or when you look in the mirror, that you're like, you are so fine, I love you so much. Start this, and when strong feelings come up, you just be there for yourself, and you listen to yourself, you listen inside of yourself, into your soul, and you're asking yourself, what's going on? What do you need right now? What do you really need right now? Not to have it filled again with outside influences, with chemicals, I say, like eating or sugar or chocolate or smoking or whatever it is, or alcohol, whatever it is, sexuality, and not to escape into these escapes, but to be there for yourself and to be pure with yourself. You can be pure again. You can be innocent again. You can generate that, okay? And I want you to be there. I want you to get into this place and to stay with yourself and to listen to your inside, to listen inside your soul, to understand what is it, what your soul, your beautiful self needs right now, and to take care of this person, which is you, okay? And to no longer allow people to mess with you, to get down on you, to have negative talk with you, to think about you in a way that you are not capable or that you're not beautiful. And if you don't want to confront, you should set boundaries at some point. But you need to learn first and foremost that something inside of yourself should lift up at that moment. There's something, somebody can tell me like you're such a da-da-da, and I'm like, oh no, she said it again, or he said it again, and I believe it, and I go like crunch, and I'm like, oh, like this, or somebody says that, and you're gonna be like, what? And you're lifting up, and you're like opposing, and you're like, you don't feel it, and you don't think like this, and you think this is hilarious, and you think this person shouldn't be, shouldn't say that, and this person will notice. Just by your inner attitude, that you don't assume, that you don't go into the self-talk of I think what did I do? And this is confusing me. But now she said or he said this and that, and is it or is it not? That you learn to distinguish if they are lying, and if they are wrong, and if they are wronging you, and if they are getting down on you, and if they are negative with you, and if this is only something to feed their ego, or if there's something true about it. If there's nothing true about it, you'll figure it out really quick. You should get up with your limits, your inner boundaries, and you should give the looks of, no, this is not how things are. This is wrong, And you will have the strength to get out of these kind of relationships or to transform them. I'm always careful with transforming like real narcissistic relationships. But the moment you change the relationship with yourself, you will change the relationship with other people. You will set the boundaries by verbalizing them, or by just being there energetically with your own boundaries, which communicate like, you're not going to fuck with me. You're just not. You know? People will notice, and you will notice. So that's the story about self-talk. I'm happy to have you subscribe to my channel and give me your comments and your like if you like to. My name is Christina Junge. If you're interested in coaching programs with me, just send me an email to christina@christinajunge.com. I'm happy to have you. And check out the next video, which is coming up here, related to this one. Have a nice time. Bye. Until the next one.